All right, guys, a quick 2-minute sales training coming at you today. So today we're going to be talking about the why. Why is the why so important? It has to make sense, and they have to see the need enough, and they need to have enough pain and see the value for them to make the decision right then and there. You know, you're not going to do that if you don't dig into the why. Because if you're staying surface level and you're only getting surface level responses, you're going to get surface level results. You know, it requires you to be vulnerable and to simply get uncomfortable. You have to ask those tough questions. Sometimes I see agents sell based on a logic sell, and people do not buy based on logic, contrary to popular opinion. People buy based on emotion, and then they simply back it by logic. So you need to sell based on emotion. And you're gonna do that by digging deep, getting uncomfortable, and asking those tough questions. Number one, your verbal pacing is so incredibly important. But secondly is just being vulnerable and showing the client you care. Typically what I'll do is after the financial inventory is fully filled out, I'll just simply stop what I'm doing. I'll be like, all right, John and Mary, so before we go any further, I'm obviously here to help and serve you guys and, figure out some sort of protection for this home and for you guys' lives, because this house is obviously your biggest asset. And, of course, we want to do everything we can to make sure that we protect and preserve it. So correct me if I'm wrong, but what the situation is looking like here is, since John's the primary breadwinner, I'm assuming we simply just want to make sure that he's protected. So God forbid, if he were to pass away, the home is taken care of for you, Mary. Would that be a fair assumption? And they'll be like, yes. I'll be like, okay, gotcha. And again, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm assuming as well, another focus, if not the main focus, is not only making sure that the mortgage is protected on the death side, but also the living side as well. Since you guys are young, you guys are both still working full time, and I'm assuming you guys would be more likely to become disabled or, get sick versus passing away. That'd be a fair assumption? Be like, yes. Okay, so I'm assuming, so simply just making sure that's covered all around. So, God forbid if you guys were to become sick, disabled, cancer, heart attack, stroke, disability, or frankly, any other sort of terminal, critical, or chronic illness, that your mortgage is covered and protected all the way around? They'd be like, yes. Be like, okay, gotcha. Because I don't know if you guys are aware of this or not, but the biggest cause of home foreclosures, it's actually not a death. Believe it or not, it's either A, unforeseen medical bills, or B, being disabled for a period of time and not being able to work. And let's put that in a hypothetical situation where 1 in 3 people get cancer at some point in their life. So between the 3 of us on this call, John and Mary, God forbid, one of us is going to have cancer at some point in our life. And in 2023, the average cancer treatment ranges anywhere from $100,000 to $300,000 in medical bills. So let's say, God forbid, John gets diagnosed with cancer, where A, he's not able to work. So you guys go from $6,000 a month in total income to Mary's part-time $1,200 a month, and the mortgage is $1,300 a month, on top of looking at $150,000 in medical bills. Let me ask you, God forbid that were to happen, what would that look like for you and your family financially? And then I'll wait, and I'll let them talk. Being raw and vulnerable and really digging deep is so incredibly important. You have to paint that vivid picture of what that really looks like. Again, like I said at the beginning of this, making sure that not only you're digging deep and asking the intentional questions, but also your verbal pacing is on point. Let's say that I just, I bulldozed into it, and I was like, so John, I'm assuming, looking at the situation, you just want to make sure that, the home's taken care of for Mary. God forbid you were to pass away. Is that a fair assumption? Like, I sound like an asshole. Obviously, your tone and your verbal pacing is important in the entire appointment, but it's even more important, and it's incredibly important in building the why. Not to perseverate and keep saying the same thing, but just simply, guys, slow it down. Ask the questions, connect with the client, and simply show them you care. And that's how you help families.